guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be painting my refrigerator. Alright, if you're new here, I'm Claire and I love a good DIY. I have quite a few of them on this channel. I will leave them down below if you are interested in seeing me refinish my dining room table, or if you want to see me paint prefab IKEA furniture, I'll leave them down below. I'm so inspired by the retro SMEG brand refrigerators. I love that they come in all these great colors. And then I looked at their price tag and I thought, nope, my 1950s home definitely can't afford one of those. And then I got to thinking, why do fridges only come in white and black and stainless steel? Why don't they come in other colors? So I Googled that and I found out that people paint their fridges all the time. It's totally a thing. So I'm gonna do it today. I have done hours of research, reading people's blogs, watching YouTube videos of how people have done this in various ways. There are lots of different ways to do it, and I have kind of used all of that information as well as my previous knowledge from all of the refinishing I've done of other types of things to compile the way that I think will work the absolute best for this fridge. I will leave a list of all of the items and products that I'm using down below, and make sure you stay to the end of this video because today it is the very beginning of October, but I'm not going to put this video up for another month because I want to be able to come back and check on it and tell you how it's held up, because I think the biggest thing that people worry about, especially me too, is if it's going to chip or peel or anything like that. So make sure you stay to the end if you want to know how well it's held up to what I do to it today. All right, pretty simple. First thing you're gonna do is clean your refrigerator. This is just a multi-purpose surface cleaner. Just get all the dust and all the food bits and all the weird stuff that's back there because you probably have not pulled your refrigerator out, maybe ever like me. Next, you're gonna take all of the plastic bits off depending on your refrigerator. That could be a lot of stuff or maybe none. For me, I had 2 handles and a little hinge cover and then that bottom grate. I also went ahead and peeled the little whirlpool sticker off, but that was just a personal preference. Next, I am going to sand it. I'm using my random orbital sander, which if you know me, you might know is actually my absolute favorite power tool. I'm using sandpaper that's a grit of 240. Anything between like 200 and 300 should be good. That's pretty fine when it comes to sandpaper grit. And the reason for that is I don't want to create huge, giant scuffs and scratches. My goal here is to just get that very top layer of shine off. I'm not trying to take this down to the metal. I'm just really doing a very light surface sanding. You definitely do not need this power tool to do this. A refrigerator is a relatively small sanding job. You could get this done just with a sanding block. I just happen to have this, and because it's my favorite, of course I used it. Saved me, a little bit of time and a little elbow grease. And of course, make sure you're sanding every single part that you're going to paint. Make sure you get those inside lips of the doors, make sure you get the top and the sides, really make sure you get it all done. And mine was pretty dusty and looked something like this when I was done. And of course, give that a wipe down, get rid of some of that dust. It was really kind of gross and it got all over my kitchen, but oh well. All right, now for the liquid sandpaper. I love this stuff. There are a couple different brands of the liquid sandpaper. I just get what's on sale. And it's great. It's just a deglosser. You use a cloth to rub it on, and this just goes that little extra mile to make sure that we get as much shine off of this fridge as possible. That's going to be our best bet to get any paint we put on to really adhere to it. And because my fridge has a really slight little ripply texture, we want to get right in there and make sure that we do everything we can to make the new paint adhere. Now I'm going with this primer. It's called Bonds. It's by Zinsser. And I was initially attracted to it because it had that picture of someone painting over glass tile. This is a maximum adhesion primer. It is a water base. And I just Googled lots of primers and pretty much this came up every single time. And so that's why I chose it. I'm also opting to use a foam roller. I really like the finish that a foam roller gives. The texture is nice and smooth. And now I'm using the lid of a cookie tray for my paint because I like to recycle. I found that the Bonds primer came on like really smooth and really thick, a lot thicker than other primers that I had used. So I thought that was a really good sign. Make sure you get all the little bits on the inside. A more responsible person maybe would remove their food out of their freezer before doing this, but I'm not that person. So I just kind of closed them mostly, and everything stayed like okay in the fridge and freezer. But you might want to throw those things in a cooler if you are smarter than me. While my primer is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint these handles. Now, all the research I did pointed to this method of just spraying them with spray paint because spray paint adheres to plastic fairly well. So I picked this really metallic-y, shiny silver by Rust-Oleum, but you could leave them the color they are if you wanted to. I just thought this would be fun. And when you're spray painting, be sure that you are doing light, small spurts of at least 6 inches away. If you get too close and if you press too hard for too long, you'll get big fat drops of paint, and that will not look very well. Now I'm going to cover these in this clear gloss. These are nice and dry at this point, and this is also a method people were saying to use because they were having trouble with the paint rubbing off on their handles. So that is why I covered it in this gloss enamel. And this might seem like overkill, but I am actually putting another layer of primer on here. Guys, I am so serious about this paint sticking to this refrigerator, and I have plenty of it. I only got a quart of the primer as well as a quart of my paint that I'm going to use, and I had plenty of both left. So don't worry about getting a big old can of paint. A little goes a long way, so I figured I might as well really prime this baby. And once this is nice and dry, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it. This is the Pittsburgh brand Fast Dry Paint. This is an interior-exterior high gloss latex paint, and I decided on this because basically I went to the lady at the paint desk and I said, hey, I need a really high quality paint, the highest quality that you have. I'm painting a refrigerator. And she recommended this to me. So basically any latex paint that's a high gloss is fine. You don't need a special paint for this. However, get the highest quality paint that you can. And because you're only getting a quart, it's not going to be that expensive. And that little extra bit of money is really going to pay off and give you a really nice finish. Currently, while I am recording this voiceover, I cannot remember the name of this color, but I will definitely leave it in the description down below. It is actually the same color as my kitchen. It was from the same like paint strip. It's just like 2 shades darker so that it would really complement my mid-century modern vibes that I have going on in my house. And also, it's really similar to that SMEG fridge that I was talking about earlier. A little tip, I used a paintbrush to get in those tiny, weird little sections, and I found it much easier to go through with a warm, wet rag and wipe off any paint on places that I didn't want it, rather than trying to tape the refrigerator. I think because it was so cold, and of course, those like rubber sections around the doors didn't hold tape at all, so I just used a rag, and I found that to be a lot easier. I'm going ahead and putting another coat of this on. Honestly, even watching it now, it probably didn't need it. But as I said, I am leaving no stone unturned in this project. This paint will stay if it's the last thing I do. And now I am just attaching my handles and my little hinge thing. And there we go. All right, you guys, it's been like 5 days since I painted the fridge. I wanted to really wait. I didn't put any magnets on it. I haven't been like really touching it, but then again, you don't really touch this part of your fridge that often anyway. I just wanted to show you guys like that I can put my nails on it and drag them like really hard and nothing comes off. There's nothing peeling. I would be very, very shocked if my 1 month check-in with you guys yielded any sort of chipping or peeling. It still has like all of this texture. It literally looks like it came this way. Like it looks like a factory painted this, other than this dent, which I didn't know was there until I painted it, because it was a little better disguised when this fridge was black. So next week we're actually having the whole entire floor replaced in this kitchen. So we're gonna have to move this, plug it in somewhere else, and then move it back. So we're gonna have to like, you know, fit it through the door. We're gonna have to put it on like a dolly. So this is some more sort of test on whether any nicks or any scratches get in it. So that will be a really, really good test, because most people I don't think move their refrigerators like ever. So I'll check back in with you in a month and I'll tell you exactly how well it's held up. All right, you guys, it is the middle of November. We took this fridge out, we redid the floors, we actually had to remove the doors from it, and we had to strap it to a dolly, and we had to jam it through a door that it did not fit through very well, and yet it has come out completely unscathed. I can't believe how well this paint worked. However, we do have an issue. So the handles have not held up at all with the method that we used, so we are gonna go ahead and try something new today, and hopefully we can make that work. So when it came to the handles, when I originally did them, I went the route of using a like finishing sealant spray, because I thought that would be the best idea, and I'd also seen other videos of people doing that. So this time, because that obviously didn't work, I'm gonna do the opposite, and instead of focusing on a sealing finish, I am going to do more prep and actually put a primer on there and sand it and do all that stuff the way that I did the fridge part. And honestly, I should have done that from the beginning, but I'd seen other people do that method that I did, and maybe they just told you it worked and it really didn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some of this flat gray primer. I'm gonna sand it. I'm going to use the same deglosser, and then I'm gonna prime it, and then I'm gonna paint it again, and then we'll see if that works better. Alright, you guys, I am so happy that I went ahead and did that again. It worked really, really well. Definitely it just feels way different, like there's no flaking or anything. I will say it altered the texture just a little bit. It's a little bit rougher and a little less smooth, but with that shine from the spray, you can't really tell unless you touch it, and even then, it just feels like plastic. It's not a huge deal. So I'm really happy that I figured out a solution to that problem. I just feel like, you know, she needs a full body shot in there, you know what I mean? My kitchen is small. Okay, so in conclusion, I would say my biggest tip or piece of advice for you guys is really put the time and the effort into prepping your surfaces, whether it is your plastic little bits, whether it's the fridge itself. I think that the success of this whole project is really based on using that high quality primer, sanding it, deglossing it, all of those little preparatory steps we took. I think that's really was the key to this success. So leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think of this, and of course, come on back for more mom stuff, lady stuff, and life stuff. If you like this type of video, you're one of my normal subscribers, because I know I don't post stuff like this all the time, but let me know if you like this type of content, because I will try to include more of these sort of projects and things like that that I'm doing. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!